Today we're talking racism. Hi, my name is Indigo, and welcome to The State of K-pop, a podcast where I talk about all things K-pop, from comebacks to choreographies, all from the point of view of a K-pop stan. Okay, so today's topic, I feel like I talk about this a lot more in my TikToks, and this topic could get like 80,000 videos because there's so much to it. It's funny because I was just going to talk about racism in K-pop, but I feel like, and I ended up making a TikTok where I was talking about racism in the K-pop community, and I feel like that's more of a problem and there's more to talk about there. But yeah, we're going to start off with racism in K-pop, and then we're really going to get into why I think racism thrives in the K-pop community. So first of all, I got a comment and somebody was asking, how do you feel about Blackpink saying the N-word? And I was like, how do you feel? How do you feel? Like it's a slur. Do you want me to be like, oh my God, I was like super happy. Like, I just find it so interesting. And this just isn't just in K-pop too. Like whenever someone says a slur or something against a certain community, and then people ask the community how they feel, like, do you need a POC to tell you how to feel about it? Like, I feel like what a redundant question to ask. And I feel like we're just missing the point. Like, once again, your question is, how do I feel about somebody saying a racial slur? Like, what? What? Okay. Anyway, but similar. So Kiss of Life. So I feel like and by the way, the Blackpink situation, when those videos came out or resurfaced again, I wasn't shocked because I was like, I feel like I've seen this before, because I have. Those videos were old and already were like leaked and stuff, but then they came out again, and then the Kiss of Life birthday they live happened, and then BM mouthing the N-word. It was like that week, or those 2 weeks, were like really just back to back to back. It was like so tiring and crazy. But Kiss of Life, I was like, well, nothing's really gonna happen to them because we've seen this before. The amount of I can count, well, I can't, I need more than two hands to count the amount of idols that have said the N-word or done ignorant or racist things, and there is no consequences or repercussions, and they don't really learn from it. It's just like time passes, which I'll be going over soon. But I was shocked, which I feel like a lot of people were shocked when they saw that Kiss of Life got taken off of KCON. I'm pretty sure this official statement from KCON USA said it was a mutual decision. Yes, but I don't. How do I say this? There's so much to unpack here. First of all, I feel like Kiss of Life didn't, or the staff or whoever decided, didn't want Kiss of Life to not perform at KCON. I feel like while maybe it was a mutual decision, I don't think it was like honorably Kiss of Life being like, you know what, we made this action and we don't deserve to be performing here because of this thing we've done. I feel like maybe they saw, apparently, the KCONers, KCON, I don't know the thing, go KCON, I don't know the catchphrase, but apparently the people at KCON were gonna do Black Ocean, which they did that to Rain actually at one of the KCONs, but which is basically just turning your light sticks off to like protest, so it's like it looks completely black. It's just like a regular concert with like no light sticks on. I don't know if it was that. I don't know if it was they realized. I don't think they thought that backlash was going to be this bad. I'm pretty sure one of the members before the live, they posted, hey, I hope you guys will still be a fan of us after. But I don't think they really were that concerned, because if they were that concerned and they thought they would actually lose fans and face repercussions, I don't think they would have posted it. I think it was like, oh my God, still be a fan of us, LOL. Anyway, and like, I would say this situation, out of all the racist stuff with idols and groups, is a little more egregious because it wasn't just them like saying a slur. Like, which rank that rank that racism. Like, oh my god. A K-pop idol saying, this is, oh, it's going to be so specific. A born and raised culturally South Korean K-pop idol who has had no interaction with black people, and the only representation and way they see black people is through the media, which media does not represent us well. Them saying the N-word, mouthing it in a song or whatever, without knowing the cultural context and like the things black Americans have been through in the history and how bad that word is, them just saying it because they think it's more of like a curse, like they think the N-word is equivalent to saying like bitch or like fuck or something, versus us literally dressing up like people's race and cultures. I think the latter is worse. And once again, that first part is such a specific thing. I'm not excusing anyone, but once again, we also have to understand, like, I've said this before, but if in America we're teaching history differently on a state by state basis, and here we learn literally next to nothing about South Korea, let alone the intricacies and you know, deep diving on specific things and stuff like that, and we don't even know, like, we don't even learn like about how, you know, Chinese immigrants were treated moving over to America and like the stuff they went through. If we don't even learn a lot of this shit in like the education system, why the fuck would South Korea do deep history think pieces and classes on black Americans? You know what I mean? Like, once again, I feel like a lot of my content is, hey, just keep this in mind. But when we're literally dressing up like people's cultures and races, like that's definitely a little more egregious, you know. A little insane, not a little insane, actually very insane. And once again, I'm pretty sure one of them either lived in America or is American or whatever. Even if they weren't, dressing up like dressing up like a culture or race, absolutely egregious, absolutely insane. I can't believe they did that. And once again, when people are like, it's 2020, why are you doing that? It's 2025, why are you doing that? Like, I'm like, bro, like, to put it in like context, my mom was born 3 years after segregation became illegal, and she's not even 60 yet. I don't know how old she is, math, but like, she's not old. Like, a lot of this shit just happened. Like, so this is very, very recent. So when people are like, oh my god, but it's like, it's 2025, we're still acting racist, like, we need to be so for real. Segregation was legal not even a couple decades ago. So like, it makes sense why people are still being racist. But like, in this case, once again, dressing up like somebody's culture, speaking in a black accent, saying like racist things and ignorant things, trying to do caricatures of not only black people but like Hispanic people, it's 2025. Like, that is where I'm like, oh wow, that's crazy. And like, once again, I didn't think they would get any backlash because like K-pop stans, which I'll be going into later, are some of the most like racist people ever. And like, people just like don't care, which I'll also be getting into. But I didn't think they realized, and I also did not realize, because I've never been to a Kiss of Life concert and like, I don't really interact with their fans, ex-fans now, but I did not realize how many of their fans are black and Hispanic, specifically, just like BM, which I did go see BM, and I saw him over Megan Thee Stallion. Good Lord, Jesus Christ. Anyway, I mean, I couldn't get tickets to Megan, but anyway, that crowd, like, there's a song he does and he's like, black girls put your hands in the air, Spanish girls put your hands in the air, whatever, Jamaican girls put your hand, whatever. And when he said black girls or Jamaican or whatever, most of the crowd, most of the crowd, most of his fans are black and Hispanic. And it's like, for Kiss of Life, and bro, I could do a video on this. I've had this in the drafts for a minute, talking about, you know, losing your identity for what's trending. When Kiss of Life first came out, Obsessed. Loved their music. The vocals were amazing. People are complaining about bring vocals back. Kiss of Life was right there. Like, come on now. And the Nobody Knows music video, I'm pretty sure, we were talking about and depicting very important things, especially in Korea. Like, we're sexual assault and stuff like that, and corruption and stuff. It was kind of giving like ATEEZ's messaging in terms of like talking about stuff that is very important that doesn't really get talked about in K-pop. So I was like, period. Like, we have voices, we're dancing, we have our own identity and message, like so different, like highlighting the R&B early 2000s stuff like that. And then we started shifting in. I don't know when the shift was. I think Sticky, maybe a song before Sticky, but I was like, okay, now we're shedding our identity and doing like turning into just like trying to be like what's trending. And I was like, oh my God. Okay. So ever since then I've been like, and then this happened and I was like, well, but you know, something that I saw was, I think if it wasn't Julie, excuse me, but one of the members said the N-word, mouthed the N-word, whatever, was in the room with the N-word, hanging out with the N-word, getting lunch, grabbing a bite to eat with the N-word. The N-word was in her mouth, okay? She made an apology. Love the, not the no tap apology, but love the official statement apology. Hello, this is JYP. This is JYP Entertainment. And a comment that got me was somebody being like, she apologized and she grew and changed. So I don't understand why this is happening. I said, did we get evidence of that growth and change? Is that growth and change in the room with us now? And obviously shouldn't if they did this. But I need y'all to stop equivalating. That's not a word. It sounds like a word though. But we need to stop saying that time passing equals somebody growing and changing, because that is not true at all. What happened was she did what she did. Time passed. Maybe y'all forgot about it because it wasn't recent anymore, or recent. It didn't happen yesterday. But time passing does not mean somebody grows. Time passing does not mean somebody changes. So I just want to make that incredibly clear. And that too, also too, like, once again, obviously it's not like K-pop fans' fault that idols are racist, but I do think when we like assume certain things, we're not, I don't want to say making it any better, but once again, we cannot accept bare minimum. We need to accept what they're giving us. And until someone actually shows like that they're making actions and doing different things and behaving in a different way, I cannot sit here and assume that these idols have grown or changed. Like, I'm going to speak very candidly. Stray Kids is my favorite group. I stan them, right? I am assuming because Han said what he said when he was like 14, and also Han at 14 was a different person. Not excusing the behavior, but if you know the lore of Han, you know. But I'm assuming that he's changed because he was like 13 or 14 then, and now he's like a grown man. But also, we don't know. We do not know. I'm assuming Bangchan has changed or gotten, but I don't even know, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I can assume BTS has changed because, you know, they donated $1 million to, you know, help Black Lives Matter. That is an example of actual tangible growth that I can see, taste, touch, smell, hear. Like, so just because time has passed does not mean anything. And I saw a screenshot on Reddit of somebody being like, oh, Kiss of Life is gearing up for the next comeback, and I feel like everybody's just gonna forget and move on. Well, yes, ding ding ding. K-pop stans don't care, especially if they're not black. Once again, if the shoe don't fit, I'm not fucking talking about you. But why would they care? Once again, I said this in another video, but the K-pop industry doesn't really have a reason, like an actual reason to care about black people. Like, there aren't like a shit ton of black K-pop idols. There aren't like, black people do not make up a majority of the K-pop industry, at least in terms of being on camera. And it is not like, if all the K-nets, like 80% of them were black, then I think the K-pop industry would be moving very fucking differently. But once they don't really have a reason to care about us. You know what I mean? So like, I'm not really shocked there. Yeah, I'm not really shocked there. But going back to the K-pop fans not caring, they don't really have a reason to. And I'll talk about this later, but racism thrives in the online K-pop community, which I'll get into later. So like, yeah, of course we're gonna move on. And once again too, like I just said, that fan being like, and that comment had a lot of likes, the fan being like, well, time passed, so I thought they grew and I thought they changed. No, a lot of people are gonna assume just because time passes that okay, they know now and they know why it was wrong. No, unless if they actually make it clear, like Hongjung, which I didn't see it, but apparently with the whole braid situation, he was like, I've educated myself, I've done research, I understand why this is bad now, so I'm no longer going to make this decision. I'm so sorry, we kind of broke right now, so we can't refilm the music video. Like, unless if Kiss of Life actually does that, no. Stop assuming these things, because there's a high chance you're wrong. Stop giving people the benefit of the doubt. Like, stop. Like, they haven't even given us a reason for me to give them the benefit of the doubt. You know what I mean? But yeah, once again, the Kiss of Life, them getting taken off of KCON is shocking. And once again, I feel like the reason why they got taken off of KCON or something, like, a lot of these companies and shareholders and stuff, they only seem to care when money's being affected. So I don't fucking know. But yeah, going back to time passing, once again, because so many people assume that, you know, time passing equals people have like grown and learned, I think a good business decision would just be to let Kiss of Life be quiet and then have a comeback. I think them having a comeback now is not the best decision, but once again, these comebacks are prepared in advance. I'm pretty sure you have to pick out a time and a date and stuff. So like, you know, they definitely didn't think this backlash and stuff was going to happen and people would actually stop listening to them and they would lose followers and stuff. I feel like they probably should have pushed the comeback a little bit, because you have all this heat on you still, and then to have a comeback. And once again, any press is good press, but when you're actually getting canceled, and once again, cancel culture doesn't work. Cancel culture is like, this is cancel. Well, I can't even say this is cancel culture because it's like one thing. But when we actually stop getting bookings and like actually lose followers and our streams goes down, that's when it's like, okay, I'm actually no longer listening to you and supporting you anymore. I think we should call cancel culture something different. But I feel like if they just let time pass, because once again, people just assume just because time passes that they've changed. Push the comeback back, wait, be silent, and then come back. Just release good music. People will forget immediately. There are so many awful pieces of shit that still have platforms and stuff. Just because they make good music, people have been excusing them and their fuck-assery for so long. The dog. I'm sorry, there's a dog barking, whatever. People have been excusing their fuck-assery for such a long time, but as soon as they started to teeter and make music that a lot of people didn't consider good, then people started being like, oh, remember when Drake did XYZ? Remember when insert name here did XYZ? As long as you're doing your job and people like what you're putting out, whether it be YouTube videos or music or shirts or whatever, people do not care, and you can literally get away with anything. As soon as you start going down in quality in terms of what you're making, music, fashion, or whatever, then people are going to call out behavior. Then people are going to be like, oh, you know what, XYZ, which is not good and is crazy. But yeah, and once again, there isn't really any consequences when it comes to racism, but when your fan base is mostly POCs, then we're going to have a problem, which once card from BM. I'm not even gonna fully talk about that because it's so tiring to see black people. Actually, you know what? I will talk about it. Card is 30. Sorry, Card is 30. BM is older than Jackson Wang by a year, I think. And when I found that out, I was like, oh, because I thought he was like 25 at most. With no tea, like, bro, no tea, no shade, with the way he acts, like, on stage and stuff. I was like, okay, you're like 20, 25. Him being 30 something, I was like, oh my God. Mind you, that nigga from, is he not SoCal? No, I don't know. I know he from Cali. And I know you grew up around mostly black people and Hispanic people. But my friend was like, yeah, but you know what Hispanics like to do? Say the N-word. I was like, you know, you're so right. You're so right. You're so right. And like, yeah, like some POCs really love to say the N-word. So, you know, can't really be that shocked. I was just more like, wow, you're 30 something. And you're going on, we live in Black Mirror. A 30-something-year-old going on TikTok Live, having his black fans duet him, which they were all black female, I'm pretty sure. Which, once again, that is mostly his fan base. Black female fans come on this, on his live. Most of them are also younger than him, educating a 30-year-old man on why you shouldn't say a slur, even though you grew up basically up until you were 18, I'm pretty sure, in America, in Cali, around black people, around Hispanic people. Like, nigga, I could say that, you fucking can't. The fuck? Like, oh my God, I was more sad for the fans coming on there, because it's like, we're not your Google. And like, also, too, niggas was sending him gifts and presents on TikTok Live. I said, this is a Black Mirror episode. We're literally in Black Mirror already. Like, why are we making the show? Just go outside and start recording. Like, truly. So many levels to what was wrong with that. But, yeah. Like, I just also, too, like, this is going into Kehoe and the Do-Rag Gate, which update, I Am a Piece again. Slowly getting back into it, but I really like Duh and I really like Pretty Boy, so I'm like starting to listen to them again. But I can still, before anything, I am black and I can still critique someone and be a fan of their music. I said, you can't say you care about cultural appropriation and then when you get called out for doing it, whether you think you did it or not, completely shut down other people's opinions just because they disagree with you and just because you didn't think you did it. The point is, you hurt someone, you hurt people, and many people feel like you made a mockery and disrespected the whole culture. When Kehoe got on Bubble and was like, it's a scarf, guys, it's a scarf. I don't care what you think it is. You have a bunch of black fans. You have a bunch of fans who became fans of you and felt safe just because you were talking about cultural appropriation and saying you cared about it and saying you didn't want to do it. I don't care if you think you did it or not. If a bunch of people are saying, hey, I feel like you did this and you hurt me, as a fan, you hurt me. I felt like you made a mockery of me. I felt like you disrespected me. I feel like you don't see me as an equal. I feel like you don't see me as a person. And I feel like you are using my culture. Whether you felt like you wanted to wear it or the staff forced you to wear it, I don't fucking care. You cannot sit here and say, I care about cultural appropriation. And then when people call you out for it and say that shit hurt them, just like completely invalidate their feelings and their opinions. I have here, I'm reading my talking points, by the way. The more global K-pop gets, the worse situations like these are going to get, because obviously you get more POC fans and more POCs introduced to K-pop. So you're going to get more backlash and it'll have more damage that you're doing against your groups and your company. If it was just Korean people, be racist to other POCs, right? Who fucking cares, right? It's not like we're fucking humans with cultures, and like, why would you give us empathy? But when we want to be global like BTS so bad, once again, I said this before, you can't want to be global and then be ignorant. Can't want to be global and then still be racist. Can't have your cake and eat it too. Just can't fucking do it. Because once again, you'll have a lot of POCs that are fans of you and then you do something ignorant and straight up racist and dress up like a black person and like, oh my god, that sentence is crazy. Dress up like a black person, dress up like a Hispanic person. Oh, crazy, 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 crazy. And then like not expect to get any backlash. And then once again, it's like, I think this is going to be a wake up call to a lot of idols, because I know they all saw that shit. I know they all see what the fuck is going on. To be more careful and, you know, just going forward to be more careful and be like, oh, you know, maybe we can't get away with that shit anymore. Maybe we can't get away with that shit anymore. And the bigger we get, also because America is so important now, marketing to the Western music industry, trying to get radio play in America, always coming to America when we do a world tour, going to New York, going to Atlanta, going to fucking Inglewood, nigga. You're going to areas that are like stops, required stops that these K-pop idols are going to. Most of the crowd is POCs. Most of the crowd is black. You can't pull this shit, bro. You cannot fucking pull this shit, because I promise you this will start to affect your fucking pockets. Like, which, that's all you care about. I don't fucking know. I said that K-pop becoming global so fast reminds me of Korea industrializing so quickly. Which I've been watching and researching, reading up on Korea's history more, so I can have more of an informed opinion when I do these K-pop takes, because obviously Korea's culture, it has seeped into K-pop, and a lot of K-pop fans have such a westernized take on K-pop because they don't know any of the culture about South Korea, and I still don't know a lot, so I'm learning more and more every day. But yeah, I don't think that K-pop was ready to become global so quick. I think obviously they wanted to be successful and global, but I don't think they thought it was going to explode this much. Like BTS exploding that quickly and everything happening so quickly, like I don't think BTS knew that was going to happen, and I didn't think the K-pop industry thought it was going to happen that fast, and I don't think they were ready for it at all. Also, K-pop started in like the late 90s, so once again, it's still fairly new. Like, it's still pretty new. And it's like, once again, I feel like maybe if the globalization of K-pop happened slower and the K-pop industry had more time to educate themselves on certain topics, it wouldn't be as much of a problem. But, you know, having K-pop blow up so quickly and still have like egregious acts of cultural appropriation and straight up racism and stuff, like, not a good combination. Not a good combination at all. Speaking of, certain topics in certain places, like for example America, have been the topic of discussion for a while, like cultural appropriation. Like, cultural appropriation has been talked about for a couple of years now, talked about to death, talked about so much. It's been exhausted for so long, and a lot of people consider it like a genuine problem. And like, that shit, I don't want to say doesn't slide here, because yes, it does, but like, people will talk about it. People will talk about it. If you do some fuck shit, you will be trending on Twitter. People will be ripping you to shreds. Like, your career might not be ruined, but like, you will lose a good amount of fans and you will be ridiculed for the rest of your career. So it's like an actual problem. You can't do something like that and expect no one to bat an eye. Like, that's not how that works. And it's like, once again, if K-pop cares so much about America now, I said this in another video, but like, you kind of have to play by the rules of wherever you are. You know, it's like, if you're a tourist and you're going to a foreign place, you should probably learn like unspoken rules and culture and stuff, or else you'd kind of like come across as a dick. Once again, I don't know if that's like that. It's like kind of similar, but it's not. But it's like, once again, if you want to blow up and be big among American fans, you should at least learn how American fans consume music, stream, and stuff like that, so you can adapt, but also know that there are certain things that you might be able to let pass in South Korea that will be considered a problem here. So you won't have these things where you lose hundreds of thousands of followers and a shit ton of people stop supporting you, and then you have to like pull out of bookings and stuff. Yeah, literally, like I just said, I think there are certain things that if K-pop wants to continue to be global, has to work towards to change so the backlash doesn't get bad. And once again, not once again, if a lot of K-pop groups continue to do this, then the reputation of K-pop is going to be bad. Because once, I keep saying once again, when I haven't even said this yet, these K-pop groups going to Coachella, performing here, performing there, they are representing K-pop. For a lot of people, this is the first K-pop group they've ever seen. They don't really even know what K-pop is. This is the first time they're seeing ATs. This is the first time they're seeing Twice and stuff like that. So you're not only making your group look bad, but the more this shit happens, the more people are going to catch on and be like, oh, this is a pattern. This isn't just like a one and done. This seems to be in the identity of K-pop. So they're going to make K-pop look bad, and they're just going to push K-pop away and not even just listen to any other groups and not want to support the K-pop industry in general. So it's like you're not only hurting yourself, but you're hurting the entirety of the K-pop industry. And then also too, especially with inflation and stuff, mind you, K-pop albums, if you're not in Korea, are like super expensive, like fucking $25 to $30, fucking $40. I've seen some shit go for $60. Vinyls go for $100. So like, if people see these groups saying racist things and like doing like super ignorant behavior, and then an album is like $30, like, nigga, like, you already have to feel super inclined and like really like these groups to want to buy these albums. So I feel like at this point people will be like, not getting it anymore, especially if it's like racism. Like, especially if it's like something like that, I feel like a lot of people are gonna be like, you know what, I'm good off that. I don't need this. This is not a necessity for me. And I've seen a shift from a lot of fans ever since the Kiss of Life, BM, Blackpink, CL, my niggas, pull triggers situation. A lot of K-pop fans, both POCs and non-POC, POCs and white people, I've seen a lot of K-pop fans just like take a step back or completely stop listening to K-pop. Like this one girl I'm subscribed to, I'll put her link in the description. She used to talk about K-pop. She just stopped. Like, she does not listen to K-pop anymore. But I've seen a lot of people step back and change the way they consume K-pop. And I was already not the fan to be super delusional. So it was a little bit more easy when I decided to take a step back from K-pop. Like, for a second, I was like, oh my God, like, am I just going to stop listening to K-pop? And I was a little worried for this channel because I was like, well, this is all I talk about. I haven't really fully diversified my content yet. So like, what the fuck am I going to talk about? Like, and also K-pop does make me happy at some point. So I was like, cause there are people that are like, why can't y'all just stop listening, blah, blah, whatever. And like, yes, but also like, this is a lot of people's happiness. So like, it is easier said than done. Every person is different. It might be easy for you to be like, oh, fuck this. But it might be harder for somebody else to be like, oh, fuck this. But like, I took a step back from K-pop and I consume it very differently. I look at these idols through, I don't want to say a different lens now, but like a reality lens, like a real lens, which I'll get to in a second. But I stopped watching. There was at least maybe like for almost a month, I stopped listening to Stray Kids, which is crazy because I used to listen to Stray Kids. Well, I started listening to them again, but like every single day, multiple times a day. I think I stopped listening to them for a month. I stopped listening to K-pop in general for like, damn, I don't even know, a while. Stopped watching K-pop content, just took a step back. And, you know, like my mom said this, there was oh my God, this was a while ago, but the whole Cody situation happened and I was like, and my mom was like, we were talking about it and she was like, I look at every famous person with a blank slate, in her words. And I was like, that's so smart. I'm going to start doing that. Not giving anyone the benefit of the doubt anymore. Not assuming anyone is good. And I'm not assuming anyone is bad. I'm just going with what I know, which is that I know nothing about them. And this is what they do. This is the music they put out. These are things that they've said. And we can just go based off that. It's just a blank slate. Once again, I don't assume anything about them, even if it's good, because I don't know them. And also too, I also keep in mind, which a lot of y'all like forget, that these are socially, societally Korean men and Korean women. And like I said earlier, when it comes to black culture, a lot of them aren't going to be like fully educated on black American culture, because once again, why the fuck would they be? So when these situations pop up, I can't even really be that shocked. And I feel like too, also, when you keep that in mind, when you see these situations happen, you're not going to be like, oh my God. Because it's like, well, like, once again, you're not excusing it, but it's like, why would they be super educated on black American culture? Like, I doubt a lot of them know what like Jim Crow laws are and black codes are, because a lot of Americans don't even fucking know what that shit is. Like, a lot of Americans don't really even understand the hurt and the pain behind certain words and certain phrases. So like, why would someone in a foreign country who might not for most of their life until they go and travel, might not even ever have like seen a black person before, like in real life, let alone spoken to a black person. So like, you know, once again, take a shot every time I say once again. There used to be groups that I loved so much that I've taken a step back from because of their past history and the fact that they haven't shown any change. The way I'm going about consuming K-pop now for the rest of my life will be different. Like, that wasn't just like a one-time thing. Like, it's going to be different. There is a lot of groups which content I don't really watch them anymore. There have been groups where I have them blocked from my Spotify and no longer listen to them, because it's just like, I said this in another video. I was about to say once again. I said this in another video, but like, why would I support you if you're not respecting me as a human? It just doesn't make any sense. Why is the K-pop community so racist? Let's get into it. I made a TikTok about this, but number one, the world is more openly and once again, oh my God. I say once again so much. Jesus Christ. Whatever. I accept it. I love myself. When we can take a step back and figure out the deeper thing under the problem of why it's a problem, we can understand and maybe make steps towards change, because none of this shit is surface level. None of this came out of nowhere. You didn't just fall off a coconut tree. You exist in the context of like, I get what she was saying. I understand what she was saying. You should be educated and know your history to understand that these things don't just pop out of thin air. So, number one, as to why is the K-pop community so racist, in my opinion, the world is more openly racist, homophobic, etc. now. From the person, someone who's in charge in a certain place somewhere, okay, to streamers, to TikTokers, it's just, you can be openly racist again. I feel like when a black man was president, at least in America, you had to do it in your living room. You had to do it you had to do it quietly. And I was watching a bunch of history videos on America. I forgot what president it was, but there was a president that put cops or federal troops to protect black people when segregation, not segregation ended. Sorry. Oh my gosh. I'm so sorry. I know some part of this is going to be wrong, so I apologize. Correct me in the comments. But basically, a president deployed troops to protect black people when they were being integrated into spaces that used to just be white. Another president came, took those troops away. Then we started getting, then the KKK started really feeling comfortable to be openly racist. More people started feeling comfortable to be openly racist because these black people weren't being protected anymore. When people who are incredibly popular have a huge platform are just openly spewing racism, homophobia, especially on the internet with these streamers and pickup artists. I don't know what the fuck they're picking up. They need to be picked up and put in jail. But it's just normal, especially on the internet. It is just normal. It's a normal part of life. gay jokes, being homophobic, you know, having these teenagers watch these streamers that are meant for adults, because teenagers do not have teenage spaces anymore, and teenage people to look up to like Miley Cyrus, Victoria Justice, watching these shows like Victorious. They don't have iCarly.com. They don't have Flash Games. They don't have Nick.com. So now these spaces where these minors go to hang out are spaces that are created for adults. And whole other video I have coming, but they're exposed to racism earlier. They're exposed to homophobia. They're exposed to these things, and it's not seen through the lens of, oh my God. It's seen through the lens of, oh my God, this is normal and this is funny. Yeah, let's make a racist joke. It's funny. Yeah, let's make a gay joke. It's funny. And I understand, like, that's always been a thing, but there is definitely correlation with people that are super popular, that have a bigger platform, that are spewing these really dangerous beliefs, who are on the internet. Then their followers will reflect, and it's just gonna be normal. You see racism on Twitter, it's just normal. So K-pop stans are gonna feel more comfortable to do so because it's normal. Racism is like the punchline of every joke. Homophobia is not every joke, but racism is the punchline of a joke. Homophobia is the punchline of a joke. All that stuff. So they feel more comfortable to do so. Number 2, anti-blackness is in every culture. And not only discrimination against darker skin in communities where black people aren't the majority, because that is also a thing, but it's also anti-blackness. So it's not only this culture, this race already subconsciously thinks that if you're more dark skinned, you're ugly. But then it's also the colonizers coming in and teaching people that black people are inferior and black people are not seen as equal. So it's like the two things that are combined together that like just amplify it and make it so much worse. 3, parasocial relationships. So you're just automatically ready to attack if it is not 100%. Oh my God, I love Felix so much. He's the best idol in the world. He's so hot and his hair is amazing and his voice is amazing and his music is so great. If it's not that, then anything besides 100% positive is just 100% negative, because K-pop stans do not have nuance, and they take an attack on K-pop idols they take any opinion about a K-pop idol as an attack on the K-pop idol and an attack on them. I said this in the K-pop and sports fans are the same, but identity is so wrapped up in music that they feel like they're being attacked. So they're gonna attack. So you already can't say, if you're in a community where you can't say, oh, I'm not a fan of this song, imagine fully critiquing somebody and calling someone out for saying something ignorant or racist. That's just not a thing. Then 4, the K-pop industry takes so much from black culture and black people and doesn't respect them. So you have this foundation already of taking from black culture, profiting off of it, and that's just something that's normal. Black culture is seen as fashion, and it's taken from the actual roots, and the actual history is erased. So it's like, no, do-rags are fashion. Box braids is just a hairstyle. There's nothing else to it. And when you erase the culture from it and just reduce it to, oh, it's just fashion, then K-pop stans are also going to think that way too, which is why so many K-pop stans are like, oh, stop bringing race into everything. Black people didn't create this. Black people didn't create that. All that stuff. So when that is already a basic foundation and the fans reflect whatever, right? Beyonce's fans, whether you think it's true or not, whether it's fair or not, Beyonce's fans reflect Beyonce. ARMY reflects BTS. Stay reflects Stray Kids. What? Okay? That it just is what it is. It is what it. I'm not saying like the ARMY completely reflects how every single individual member is, but you know what I mean? Like my subscribers, my fans, people who are a fan of me, if I see them spewing hateful stuff and I see it and I go, whatever, then more of that shit will breed, and that also says something about me. So when the K-pop industry already has a basic foundation of taking from black people but erasing black from the culture and minimizing where certain things come from, not knowing the history about it, not caring to let people know, turning it into very base level, oh, it's fashion, oh, it's hair, then the K-pop fans are just going to do the same thing. And on top of that, black people are important enough for our culture to be taken from us, but not important enough for people to be educated on the culture and for us to be given credit for the culture and enough for us to be respected. Last thing. So, idols doing ignorant or racist things, and then the fans not caring, and on top of that, accepting apologies. It's so funny to me when a famous person will apologize for saying something that has been like done as an attack on the black community, and then white people will be like, it's okay. Bitch, that apology wasn't for you. What the fuck? Hello? Move over. Move over, Bethany. Move over, Kate. I'm sure there are black people named Bethany and Kate. My first name is Dylan. Like, come on. But that, and also the flip side of, and this is the last thing and then I'll go, because I've said this before, a lot of K-pop idols just don't have any autonomy and really can't control what they do. Very muted in terms of what they say on social media. And I'm sure some K-pop idols see some shit and want to say something, but the company's like, no, bye. But going back to the fans reflecting the idols, I give every single K-pop idol a side eye that does not openly speak up against certain things that their fans are doing, especially when when they have enough freedom to be able to do so. When your fan base is known for being incredibly racist, and you know that, because once again, K-pop idols have so many alternate accounts on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, scrolling, interacting with y'all without y'all even fucking knowing it. They see these things. They're scrolling. They see these things. They know these things. And then they just don't say anything. And it's just crazy to me, because it's like, whether you write your music or not, if most of your music is literally just peace, love, positivity, which is like literally like all K-pop groups, and then your fan base is known to be incredibly racist to black people, to any POCs, but known to be like incredibly racist, and you just like don't say anything about it, I give you the biggest side eye in the world. Absolutely bombastic side eye, because it's like, okay, so you don't actually believe what you're saying. You're not actually preaching positivity. And it's like the most basic level of peace, love, and positivity. It's giving, I want to put this in a song so people will like my music, but then when it comes down to it, you're not doing anything and you don't actually care. Yeah. So I feel like when we have those points and we really understand, we can backtrack and see why people feel so comfortable to spew so much racism, and people feel so comfortable where fan bases are like overtaken with people being so racist and just feel so comfortable to say the most disgusting, like awful things on public forums, mind you. When we backtrack and we can really like understand these behaviors, we can understand why people feel comfortable in doing these things. So yeah, I feel like the problem really is more like, yes, the problem is the K-pop industry being racist, but I feel like a lot of K-pop idols are just ignorant, and especially too, like, I feel like South Korea, and once again, it makes sense. Why would South Korea be like incredibly educated on Black American culture? Most Black Americans aren't even educated on Black American culture. Most Americans aren't educated on Black American culture. Why would they be? It makes sense. So I just feel like a lot of it really just comes from ignorance. But the K-pop stans, That's not ignorance. A lot of K-pop stans that you interact with on Twitter and on TikTok are American, are from the UK, are from places where this is taught, are from places where they know the history of the N-word. They know the history of these slurs. They know how bad these things are, and they're still choosing to be racist. I've literally seen some K-pop stans be like, I am racist. I don't like black people. You know what I mean? So, like, I feel like the problem is more with the K-pop community, and I feel like while maybe the K-pop idols are ignorant, not all of them. Some of them are just straight up racist. But I feel like while the K-pop idols are ignorant, I feel like it's more the K-pop community and the K-pop stans that are racist. So that is the video. If you want to leave any comments below, please keep it civil. I'm not afraid to block. I'm not afraid to report. But yeah, thank you for watching this video. Hopefully you learned something from this. Sorry for the noise in the background, bro. I live in New York City. Actually, I'm not apologizing. I live in New York City. It's gonna be noisy. Anyway, bye. 50 minutes. Oh my god.